Welcome back to Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood. I'm Jamie G, mayor of the 19th hole, and I'm here with Magnum Mills to preview the final round of the FedEx Cup playoffs. That's right, this is the Tour Championship, the third and final round of the 2025 PGA Tour playoffs.
You just love that word, but I love this part of the year, man. The PGA Tour is going full on Highlander. There can be only one. I may or may not rewatch the first two Highlander movies recently. And thank you for watching and listening to a Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood. We are presented by Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. Find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. We're on social media at Seize the Gap FF. Same spot on the web, seizethegapff.com. Simple and easy to remember, just like the flaps. FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please remember to click the thumb.
Before we get into the Tour Championship, let's go ahead and rewind back to the BMW. Mills, stop me if you heard this one before, but that Scotty Scheffler guy, he's pretty good at golf, right?
He is not too shabby, as them kids would say. The dude is just a machine, man. He is just consistent. He is breaking 70 every single round, no matter the conditions. You thought maybe Robert McIntyre could make a little run. It was actually Sam Burns coming up towards the end, and then Scheffler hit that chip in on 17. It was just like, yeah, like, I mean, he is. Yeah, you don't want to say the Tiger word, but he is playing just extremely well right now. It's tough to go with anybody else, really. I mean, Scheffler is just in a league of his own, and Gina Davis is nowhere in sight. Shout out Gaze Valley. I really kind of underestimated the work that had been done there, and maybe underestimated the impact of the rain back in 2021. It was not the birdie fest I thought it was going to be coming in. So shout out to them. The golf course was very interesting, and maybe not a big shout out to Robert McIntyre. He had it going on. He was in control coming out of moving day on Saturday, but he bogeyed the first two holes on Sunday, and then he didn't even card a birdie until the 16th, and that was his only birdie in the final round, and that's not how you beat Scotty Scheffler. So it was one of those weeks. And if you're playing over on DraftKings, shout out Michael Kim. There's always that one dumpster dive guy that you had to kind of have to make everything work. With Scotty Scheffler winning the tournament, Michael Kim was the guy you needed to make your lineups work over on DraftKings. And the top 10 overall outside of Scotty Scheffler was Scheffler up there up top at 15 under, Robert McIntyre solo second at 13 under, Maverick McNeely solo third at 11 under. Then you had a two-way tie for fourth between Tommy Fleetwood and Sam Burns. That's Tommy Fleetwood just doing his thing, baby. Harry Hall was a solo second at 8 under par. He also managed to get himself into the final round of the playoffs with that finish. So shout out Harry Hall. You have a wonderful alliterative name and you're playing very good golf. And then we had a three-way tie for seventh between Victor Hovland, Ricky Fowler, and Ludwig Oberg at 7 under. Oh, Ricky, it was a tough one for him, man. He just missed out on making it to East Lake. So we'll see if he can do it next year. And then the aforementioned Michael Kim finished a solo 10th at 6 under par. Other notable names included Cam Young keeping it going here, finished tied for 11th at 5 under, tied for 12th at 3 under. You had Ben Griffin and Rory McIlroy. And Ben Griffin had what we're going to probably call the creatine incident. Will be known for a while here. Apparently, he likes to have the creatine shake before he plays. This time on round one, I guess like it didn't properly get put out, distributed in a little blender cup or whatever. He swallowed like this big chunk of it, and he absolutely weirded out. He played the first 3 holes 6 over par. He 4-putted from inside of like 5 feet on the first hole. He said his heart was racing. He thought he was going to have to quit, so his caddy made him drink all this water, and then he was absolutely nails. The last 15 holes, 7 birdies, 8 pars, no bogeys to finish tied for 12th after legitimately punting 6 strokes away on the first 3 holes. So I'm a big fan of that, and it'll be a great story if he can keep it going this week. He also had Russell Henley tied for 15th at 2 under. Matt Fitzpatrick and Keegan Bradley tied for 17th at 1 under. Xander Schauffele played his way out of the playoffs, finishing tied for 28th at 3 over. Patrick Cantlay couldn't get it going here, finished tied for 30th at 4 over. And disappointing us, tied for 33rd, you had Justin Thomas and Colin Morikawa at 6 over par. The last 5 guys in wound up being Jacob Bridgman, Harry Hall, Sungjae Im, Chris Goddard, and Akshay Sabathia, and then the first five out, Michael Kim. Despite the 10th place finish here, he's the first man out of the final round of the playoffs. You also had Taylor Pendrith, Ricky Fowler, Matt Fitzpatrick just missing the cut there. So it was a fun second round, but I think we got to go on to the big one here, the final countdown, the Highlander of it all.
Let's get into the final round of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Mills, what do we need to know about the 2025 Chore Championship? And does this mean after this week I can't say playoffs anymore?
Well, I mean, the MLB playoffs, it will be in October. I guess you can bust it out then, but until then, you're gonna have to find something else. I mean, the WNBA playoffs, are they coming up soon? You have to look around, man. Jim Moore should really make a career out of this. I believe he has done at least a beer commercial with it. So you got to be entrepreneurial these days. You got to get your nuts somehow. And this is the Tour Championship. Once again, we are back at East Lake Golf Club in Atlanta, Georgia, home of the Waffle House. This is a par 70 track playing 7,440 yards. The original architects were Tom Bendelow and Donald Ross, but there have been a lot of renovations over the years, including a George Cobb renovation in 1959, two Reese Jones renovations in 1995 and 2008, and the most recent one by Andrew Green back in 2023. And to the joy of many golf fans out there, there are no starting strokes this week. All 30 golfers are starting on an even playing field. None of this Scotty Scheffler is already 10 under on the first tee stuff. So it's any man's tournament to take down. 30 golfers in the field, no cut, 40 million bucks in the purse. The winner is taking home $10 million. Anybody finishing eighth or better is taking home at least $1 million. Scotty Scheffler is the returning champion. He was 30 under par last year, including the starting strokes. Jamie G, it's the final round. We're in Atlanta. What's the weather looking like for this one? I know it's always going to be a little bit, outcome undeterminable when it comes to the Waffle House, but how about out on the golf course?
As always, remember to check the latest weather forecast before finalizing wagers and lineups. We are seeing some of the effects of Hurricane Aaron, so we might be trading the hot one for the wet one. We kick things off on Thursday with a high temp of 90 degrees, light winds around 5 miles an hour. The sun will be out for the most part, but we've got a 25% chance of scattered showers in the afternoon. Things cool off a bit on Friday as the high temp is down to 84 degrees, again with light winds around 5 miles an hour. We're starting out with a little cloudy morning here, giving way to a 60% chance of scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. It's more of the same on Saturday. We got a high of 81 degrees, winds between 5 and 10 miles an hour, and a cloudy morning. We're looking at 50% chance of scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. Things are looking similar on Sunday. The projected high is 86 degrees with light winds around 5 miles an hour. It's another cloudy morning with a 40% chance of afternoon showers as we close out the season. Other than it getting a bit wet, I don't know that the weather will make a huge impact. Anything to add here, Mills?
There is a chance that the rain winds up helping out a couple of people, depending on when it actually occurs. It could soften up the golf course a bit. Probably wouldn't impact the longer hitters in a negative way. Maybe the shorter hitters, it'd be a little rougher. You're not going to get much rollout, but it could make the greens a little bit more receptive. But for the most part, there's no real way to know exactly what golfers are going to benefit if you're just kind of having some pop-up scattered showers. So just something to keep an eye on, but probably no real weather impact this week. So we like that.
Let's get into the overall thoughts on the Tour Championship. Mills, we've only got 30 golfers total in the field this week. How does that alter the approach?
It definitely changes it quite a bit. There's just less outcomes that can happen. Everyone is very tightly grouped in terms of the odds. I mean, there's no real point in wagering a top 20 here. It's saying, oh, yeah, you'll finish in the top 66% of the field. Even a top 10 here is just really finishing in the top third. In terms of like the winning wagers, do you really want to go after Scotty Scheffler like that, who is all of plus 150, which is actually, just absolutely wild. It is a short field, but you still at least have some of the best golfers in the world out there. Most of them are playing pretty well. I think it's probably a good week to focus more on matchup wagers, round to round wagers, single round wagers, that kind of thing. I think there will be a lot of exciting options to do because you have such good golfers playing with each other, going up against each other. But for the most part, as far as your finishing position wagers and some of that kind of stuff, I don't know that you're really going to find a lot of options that you like here. And it's a week to be careful over on DraftKings or wherever you're playing DFS. If you are entering some kind of contest where where teams can put into up to 150 lineups. You're going to be trying to ice skate uphill this week if you're only playing an entry or two. With only 30 golfers in the field, they are going to be able to cover a lot of bases. You're also going to see a lot of duplicated lineups probably. So there is a chance the big pot winds up getting chopped up top by a couple of different entries. So if you're going to go into a big multi-entry contest this week, just try to be contrarian, even consider leaving a bunch of salary on the table. Do anything you can to make your lineup a little bit different. For that reason, I think it's an excellent idea to stick to single entry contest, your three max contest. Maybe don't go too far above that. Don't feel like you have to play a ton of volume this week just because it is a championship. It's going to be very fun to watch, but just given the nature and quality of the field, it's just going to be a little bit of a tough one to wager on and to do DFS stuff on, at least in some terms. It is what it is. East Lake is going to play pretty straightforward. It's a Donald Ross joint. You got to hit fairways. It helps to be a little bit longer off the tee. Scrambling is going to be a big plus. I want guys who can really roll it on Bermuda greens, guys who have played well on Donald Ross tracks. And it's pretty simplistic. I mean, you don't want to say it's that straightforward, but when we're down to this many good golfers in the field, you're pretty much 30 for 30 here. Anybody could go out there and shoot a 62 or something like that. So all options are on the table. It's not the most fun time to be like, yeah, it's the grand finale. I'd be like looking at the Super Bowl and be like, I think both of these teams could win. That's kind of the case. But in golf, it's a much more random sport, for the most part, especially for individual competition. So just be aware of that this week. Scotty Scheffler is a gigantic favorite for a reason. Do not try to ice skate uphill just for the hell of it, just to try to get a better number or something like that. Don't be afraid to eat some chalk, but also find a way to differentiate yourself a little bit, or just have fun. Get some more preseason football in. Just watch the golf, enjoy the golf, and get ready to throw some bucks down in the Ryder Cup and in this upcoming NFL season. So we got a lot of options here, even though we're running out of summer.
Let's move into our DraftKings picks for the Tour Championship. We weren't on Robert McIntyre last week, but Scotty Scheffler, Maverick McNeely, and Ben Griffin came through for us. So let's keep that train rolling with our final top 5 DraftKings plays for the 2025 season.
Thought about trimming it down here because you top 5 out of 30, man. It's like, you got to
Yeah.
1/6 of the field here, but you have to play 6 in your lineup. So I think 5 is still a fair number. We're going to start out at number 5 with a golfer you will not be able to play if you're playing Mr. Scotty Scheffler, and that is Russell Henley. He's 9,600 over on DK, projecting for about 28% ownership, plus 2,000 to win the tournament. Should note that ownership is going to be a lot more variable contest to contest, just because there are more limited number of golfers in the field. So don't go too much into projections. I would just look at it kind of like, hot, medium, low. Like, you can either have a guy who's highly projected somewhere in the middle or somewhere low. I wouldn't get caught up on a couple of different percentage points within the projections this week, because I expect them to be all over the place, even on the same golfers, just between the various contests. As far as Henley, he came in 3rd in our model, 8th in our Donald Ross short game metric, tied for 4th at East Lake last year, 3rd in strokes gained on the comp courses that are similar to this. And he's also 4th in strokes gained tee to green, 2nd in good drives, 5th in scrambling, 6th in strokes gained putting on Bermuda. Tons to love there, except for the fact that you can't play him and Scotty Scheffler in the same lineup. So if you're going off of Scheffler, I think Henley is an excellent option to go with. At number 4, a little bit more of the same, going back to the well with Mr. Burns, Sam Burns. He's 8,500, projecting for about 25% ownership, plus 2,800 to win the tournament. Once again, that ownership could be all over the place. You probably can squeeze him in there with Scheffler if you want, but you are in the dumpster for your final 4 if you're going to go that way. Burns came in 8th in the model, 12th in our Donald Ross short game metric, played very well here the last 2 years, finishing tied for 12th and tied for 9th. And he's gained a full stroke, at least a full stroke on approach each of the last 2 weeks, while adding at least 5 strokes gained with his putter. If he can keep that up, he will be in the proverbial business this week. He's 2nd in strokes gained putting on Bermuda greens. And if you're not playing Scheffler, he is an even better option, because then you're going to have a ton of optionality throughout the rest of your lineup. So we love Mr. Burns. He is excellent this week. And then we have Harry Hall at number 3. He played himself into the playoffs, and he's played himself back into our top 5. He is $7,000 over on DK, only projecting for about 17% ownership. In this case, that's actually a solid number, plus 4,500 to win the event. Came in 11th in the model and 4th in our Donald Ross short game metric. Absolutely peaking at the right time. Played his way into the tournament with that tied for 6th place finish last week, and he has 7 7 top 20 finishes in his last 10 events. Worst finish in that stretch was a tie for 28th at the Open Championship. So that is very, very solid golf. The ball striking isn't great, but he's probably the hottest putter in the field, and it might not be close. So if he can just keep it going a little bit with the irons and keep that putter white hot, he has a chance here. And at number 2, we got the monster. He overcame the creatine incident. Ben Griffin down to 7,700, projecting for about 24% ownership plus 3,500 to win the event. Came in 5th in the model and 1st in our Donald Ross short game metric. If he can overcome, you like narrative street a little bit. I love the idea that he lost 6 strokes in the first 3 holes last week, but the way he recovered from that, man, to play the last 15 clean with 7 birdies is amazing. He looks very, very good overall as far as his profile. The 22nd in good drives is probably the only blemish that and on the whole profile, really, everything looks great. Came in 6th in strokes gained on the comp courses. So this kind of course suits him. You can play him with Scheffler. It's going to be chalky, but certainly very doable. So arrow still pointed straight up for Ben Griffin. And at number 1, I mean, the man is a champion. I don't know how you go against him. Scotty Scheffler, $13,900 on DraftKings, projecting for 42% ownership, plus 150 to win the tournament. Did not forget a 0 there, just straight up plus 150. It is what it is. He's first in the model. He's pretty much first in everything. He's the defending champion. You can squeeze a pretty decent lineup in around him. Just be very cognizant of the kind of chalk you are going to eat. I think there's going to be a lot of duplication in Scheffler lineups. Especially love him again in single entry. Just fire away. I don't know how you don't play him there. Feel free to get a little bit contrarian in tournaments if you want, but again, the man is a machine right now. I do not know how you go against Scotty Scheffler, so no surprise. He's at number 1 despite the 13.9 salary. Ben Griffin at number 2 at 7,700. Harry Hall at number 3 at 7K flat. Sam Burns at 8,500. And finally, Russell Henley at 5 and $9,600. So there's your top 5. A good luck to you this week.
Only 30 golfers in the field. Value is somewhat of a relative term, but we do need to try to save salary somehow. It won't be easy this week, but luckily, we've got a guy for that.
Take it from me. I am a doctor. Dr. Toboggan. Mantis Toboggan.
When you're dumpster diving for value, Dr. Mantis Toboggan, he's the best there is, bar none. Mills, who's the doc prescribing for our final dumpster dives of the season?
I don't know if it's ironic or what it is, but I actually, there's a bar near where I live that's bar none. I guess that's, someone thought they were very clever. So shout out to that. Going back to the well, the dock goes back to the same dumpsters. Call them the well or the dumpster, but the dock is going back there with Akshay Bhatia, 6,700, projecting for about 16% ownership, plus 5,000 to win. Came in 22nd in the model, was absolutely up and down last week, but he showed his upside on Saturday, including making an ace to win a new BMW. That was a very cool moment. He has done absolutely nothing really with the putter, but he has gained at least 2.3 strokes on approach in each of the first 2 events in the playoffs. He's first in strokes gained on the comp courses and first in strokes gained on Donald Ross designs. So there is a lot of fit here. I don't know that he can put 4 rounds together, which he would need to do to win the tournament, but he could put 3 together for you. And in a no-cut event like this at $6,700, that could be enough to get it done for you. So I like what the doc is opening up with. And then he's going down to crafty lefty Brian Harman at 6,500, projecting for about 12% ownership, plus 6,500 to win. Came in 26th in the model. That is not great, but he came in 3rd in our Donald Ross short game metric. That is pretty great. He finished tied for 10th at the Open Championship, and he's carried that over into the playoffs, finishing tied for 22nd and tied for 9th. He gained 4 strokes on approach last week. That is a very good sign. Last time he gained that many strokes on approach, he won the Valero. I don't know that he can win here, but a top 10 finish is well within the range of possibilities. Again, that's the top third of the field. That's not saying a lot, so let's bump it up. But top 5 is certainly within the range of possibilities. And then finally, the doc has got a soft place in his heart for the guy, for Shane Lowry. He's all the way down at 6,400, plus 6,000 to win. Still came in 16th in the model, and he finished tied for 9th here last year. The putter is a problem. It is kind of a flaming hot mess, but he's still been hitting the irons relatively well. He finished tied for 23rd 23rd last week, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but he had really been a hot mess since the U.S. Open, so it really represented a righting of the ship, and I love him down here. Yeah, there's a little bit of ownership, but Shane Lowry at 6,400 on a course he's a decent fit at. I like what the doc is cooking. So those are the three dumpster dives for the Tour Championship. Akshay Bhatia at 6,700, Brian Harman at 6,500, and Shane Lowry at 6,400.
Say, $50 to Smales kid picks his nose. Okay.
Before we start talking about wagers, do not forget to check the latest news before finalizing your lineups and any wagers you're placing. Also, make sure to check all available sports books. You got to make sure that you're getting the best possible odds on your wagers. We are not affiliated with DraftKings, but we do get our odds and wagers from the DK Sportsbook, and everything is accurate as of Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. You should know, here on Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood, all of our wagers are in our preferred currency, the cricket coin, because in cricket, we trust. Make sure that you're checking out the season 17 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia over on FX, FXX, and Hulu. It's pretty damn incredible. Just like the PGA Tour, there's only one event left in this outstanding season.
Ooh, one event left, and it is the Golden Bachelor Live with Frank Reynolds as the titular Golden Bachelor. Cannot wait for that. Let's kick things off with our weekly wagers. These are generally props, finishing position wagers, those sorts of things. Given the nature of the event, have a pretty short card this week. Only three up top. Going to go, haven't really done it all year. Going to go back to the well with a round one leader wager. Tommy Fleetwood plus 1,600 to be the round one leader. He has been outstanding thus far in first rounds. I believe he's gained 5 and 6 strokes in the first round of each of the two events in the playoffs so far. Why not get it going here? He doesn't have to win. That's not what he does. He doesn't win, but you know what he does? He comes out, plays great golf in the first round, and finishes somewhere in the top 10. So that's what we got for Fleetwood. And then why not just throw 100 cricket coins on Scotty Scheffler to win the golf tournament plus 150. So 100 coins to bring back 250. It's not a great number, but I just don't feel comfortable betting on anybody else. So there you go. It's Scotty Scheffler, ride or die. And then finally, just to keep it going, Ben Griffin to finish in the top 10 plus ties, plus 140. So 100 coins to bring back 240. So two shorties and a tall guy there. Let's hope we can hit the big boy, Tommy Fleetwood, doing the thing in round one.
Let's move on to the matchup wagers. Go ahead, Mills. Let us know who you got on the card for this week.
Like I said, this is going to be a fun one, doing a lot of round-to-round stuff, head-to-heads, that sort of thing. I mean, you can bet on guys hitting the green, hitting the fairway. There's a lot of fun live betting options. As of right now, I only have some round one stuff, so I just have one round one wager right now. That is a head-to-head between Scotty Scheffler and the aforementioned Tommy Fleetwood. Scheffler's minus 245, Scheffler's plus 190. I'm going to put my 100 coins on Tommy Fleetwood at plus 190, so 100 to bring back 290. Like I mentioned a minute ago, he gained in the first round of the St. Jude 6.1 strokes on the field, and at the BMW 5.7. That is amazing golf in the first round. So he doesn't have to beat Scheffler for the tournament, just in round one. And then I have a tournament long head-to-head. Again, two golfers up against each other. Pick the best one. That first one was just for round one. This is for all four rounds. You have Corey Connors at minus 125 and Harry Hall at plus 100. Going to go ahead, put the 100 coins on Harry Hall, 100 to bring back 200. Sorry, Corey Connors, I love you. You're definitely a better ball striker than Harry Hall. You have a better long-term profile, but the form has been bad and your putter has been worse. And Connors has also been weak on the comp courses and on Donald Ross design. So love you, Corey Connors, but it's a crucial conflict to use it this week. We are going with the HH over the CC. Shout out Harry Hall. And then I got a couple of tournament groups. These are 5 golfer groups. You have to pick the best golfer of the bunch. This is for all 4 rounds. And if there is a tie, dead heat rules apply. In group number 1, you have Colin Morikawa at plus 300, Sepp Straka at plus 320, Cameron Young at plus 330, Ben Griffin at plus 360, and Robert McIntyre at plus 360. For me, it really came down to Young or Ben Griffin. That's how I landed on this group. I like Cam Young. He has been on fire, but I'm going to go with Ben Griffin here, all in on Griffin. So 100 coins on Griffin at plus 360, 100 to bring back 460. And then another tournament group, same thing, 5 golfers, pick the best one. We have Shane Lowry at plus 250, Sung J M at plus 320, Nick Taylor at plus 320, 220, Jacob Bridgman at plus 400, and Andrew Novak at plus 400. Yes, Shane Lowry's only plus 250. He's short by far this group, but that's because he is a better golfer than all of these guys. I think Sanjay's really the only guy who's close, and Sanjay is an absolute mess right now. So I love the Lowry here. 100 coins at plus 250 to bring back 350 coins. That is right. We're bringing back Tree Fitty. And then finally, going to throw 100 coins on the top European golfer in the field. We have 9 euros ranging from Rory McIlroy at plus 250 down to the aforementioned Shane Lowry at plus 1600. I'm going to go with the second shortest odds, put 100 coins on Tommy Fleetwood to be the top Euro at plus 400, 100 to bring back 500. Again, doesn't have to win the golf tournament. Basically, he's got to beat McIlroy, Oberg, and Hovland. If he can beat those three, I think that probably does it. So trying to make some money on Fleetwood, just banking on the fact that he's going to play well, but not well enough to win.
If you're hearing Kenny Loggins, it's time for the Parlay Partay. You want to have fun at the party, but do not forget that this is a zone of danger. Parlays are tough to begin with. Golf parlays can be an absolute bloodbath if things don't go your way. That being said, we hit one of our 3 offerings last week, so we're trying to keep the party going. Mills, what are you contributing to the Partay this week?
It's rough because there's a real temptation to throw Scotty Scheffler in at plus 150. The top 10 number is ludicrous. It's like minus 1200. So I don't think we want to go to that part of Atlanta. We're not going to the ludicrous. We're not doing the Welcome to Atlanta remix here. I think I'm just going to go with a 4-leg top 10 parlay. This includes ties. You got to really get some legs on the stool here to make it work this week with the short field. Up top, Tommy Fleetwood, minus 150 to finish in the top 10. You know, I don't want to say it's a no-brainer, but I feel extremely confident about that one. And then we got our guy Russell Henley. He's minus 115 for a top 10. Mr. Burns, Sam Burns at plus 125. And then leg number 4, our guy Ben Griffin plus 140. Parlay those 4 legs together. Again, all 4 golfers must finish tied for 10th or better. Your odds are plus 1,582. So a wager of 100 coins will bring you back 1,682 cricket coins. And that'll be a nice way to get your NFL season started.
It's not all parlays at the Partay, though. We've also got a game that we call Let Me Ride. This is a bankroll management contest where we're trying to determine the best approach to building the bankroll when it comes to golf wagering. The only catch is that you need to let your entire bankroll ride on a single wager each and every week.
That is the deal. It's basically a race to 1,000 coins. We're each starting at 100. Got to wager your whole nut every week. You keep going to hit 1,000. If you fail, you start back at 100. You pick up a strike. Strikes are bad because if we're still in the middle of a round when the season ends, like we could potentially be now, whoever has fewer strikes wins the round. I am currently up 2 rounds to 1. Last week, Jamie G and I were both back at 100 coins. Jamie G had to win it all. He had to get to 3 rounds, so he had to try to go for it last week. He took Russell Henley to win. He put his 100 coins on that at plus 3,000. Unfortunately, Russell Henley finished tied for 15th, so he picks up a strike still at 100 coins. I went for Shane Lowry to be the top European. I thought it'd be a good spot. Maybe you get value dipping down. I had 100 coins on that to bring back 1,300. Finished tied for 23rd, but ironically, a little bit of an Atlantis alert here. A golfer was the top Euro at plus 1,200. It was just Robert McIntyre who finished second, so I had the right idea. I was barking up the correct tree, but I had the wrong Irishman or the wrong Scotland, the Scottish dude there. Had the wrong Euro, but we were doing our best. That means in round 4, we are both at 100 coins with 1 strike, 0 wins in a row, and I am up 2 rounds to 1. Jamie G, you need a complete victory here to make it a push on the season. What are you going to go with?
Well, Mills, I think I'm hearing Seal, and I think I'm getting vibes of like Batman Returns or something because I'm putting 100 cricket coins on Justin Rose, round 1 leader. It's plus 2,800, 100 cricket coins to win 2,900 back. He's a quick starter. Recent form's been outstanding. He's 8th in strokes gained in round 1 of events with no cut. I'm banking on that quick start with his recent form to be able to get there for me. Let me be kissed by a rose, baby. Justin Rose, round 1 leader.
I love how you just via Danny DeVito you kind of crossed over the Kiss from a Rose and Always Sunny in Philadelphia with the Danny DeVito and Batman Returns because I think the Kiss from a Rose was technically Batman Forever, but they were both on Sunny and
Why are you dressed like that?
Well, my chat name was Desert Rose, so I dressed like a rose. I'm gonna give him a rose, and I'm gonna play Kiss from a Rose by Seal. So I got a whole thing I'm doing here. Can you please get out?
yeah, it all comes together, man. It all kind of blends together at this point of the Universal Cinematic Universe or whatever we are at now. I'm gonna go the other way. I don't think I could beat Jamie G there, so I'm just gonna try to like possibly pad my victory. I'm gonna put my 100 coins on Scotty Scheffler to finish in the top 10. That's minus 1,200, so 100 to bring back 108. So if you miss and Scotty Scheffler finishes in the top 10, I win 3 rounds to 1, which sounds better. So I'm going for, maybe I'm going to get myself in trouble here, but I'll also throw a couple bucks on Justin Rose to be the round 1 leader. So really, I'll win either way.
That brings us to our one and done picks. We didn't recommend Robert McIntyre or Maverick McNeil, and outside of Scotty Scheffler, that's really who you needed. Mills, who are the one and done recommendations for the Tour Championship?
Guess we should probably set the stage here because this is a very odd tournament when it comes to one and done contests. There are a fair number of contests that ended last week at the BMW. You will have some contests that will use the Tour Championship here as a full purse, and it'll be the final event. Some can use it full purse and keep going. I've also seen it done with a reduced purse where they basically run it back like last week, the 20 million purse with the 3.6 to the winner, and do it that way. So pay attention to your contest rules. Obviously, if you're getting the full 10 million, you can make up a lot of ground, but this is a case where you pretty much have to know where you stand. You have to look at the golfers ahead of you, the entries ahead of you, and just try to figure out the path of least resistance. Basically, who is the guy that can make you up the most ground? If you're playing from behind, if you are playing from up front, you basically want the best golfer available. Do not overthink it. The closer to the top you are, the less you have to worry about. Just want to pick the best golfer. If you are further back, but just barely in striking range, get weird with it. You're going to have to. I don't think you can, going to feel great about going all the way down to Andrew Novak or something like that, but you got to take a shot somewhere. And if you're drawing dead, just put a pick in, make sure you play out the string. If your contest is playing into the swing season, keep that in mind a little bit, but there's not going to be a lot of these top golfers available in any of the events there, unless the Ryder Cup guys are playing the Pro Core as a warm up. So go ahead and play whoever you want here for the most part. I would say if you just kind of had to pick 2 random guys that you might have available, if you're near the top and you're willing to eat maybe a little bit of chalk, you can go back to Cam Young. He's plus 3,000 to win, came in 17th in the model, 5th in our Donald Ross short game metric, 6th in strokes gained on the comp courses, so that's all nice. And he's also finished 1st, 5th, and tied for 11th in his last 3 events. Also finished tied for 4th at the U.S. Open, so he's in great form and he's played well in big events. And then pure shot in the dark. Jamie G went round 1. I'll just go for the whole thing. Justin Rose plus 5,000, all the way down at 28th in the model, but about midway, 16th in the Donald Ross short game metric. Finished tied for 30th last week. That was disappointing. But before that, he'd been on fire since the Scottish Open and finishing tied for 6th, tied for 16th, 1st, and tied for 30th. Also finished tied for 2nd at the Masters. And given the strength of the field, I just don't think anybody's going to go there. So again, if you need a pure shot in the dark, why not Justin Rose? It is what it is. One and done is always fun, but there is a ton of luck involved because there's only one time you get to use Scotty Scheffler. NFL, it's a little bit, more up in the air with the Survivor and stuff like that. One and done, you got to hit those. When you use a big name, you got to get it. If you didn't get at least $3 million with your use of Scotty Scheffler this week, you are in trouble, man.
Finally, we have to make our picks for the Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood one and done contest. Mills, how much am I up with one event left?
You were up almost about $2 million exactly. You had Cam Young last week. He brought home 520K, finishing 11th. I had Colin Morikawa, finished tied for 33rd, disappointed me. So he only brought back about 120K. You're at about 7.2 million. I'm at about 5.2. That's why you're up by 2, but we're playing the full pot here. So everybody finishing 8th or better gets at least $1 million. So if I can get a top 5er here or something and you fall outside of the top 10, I at least got a chance here. It's full on Dumb and Dumber. I'm saying there's a chance. Jamie G, you have the honors. You're in the lead. Who are you going with?
And I'm going to go with Hideki Matsuyama this week. He's plus 3,500 to win the whole thing. And look, you mentioned it. I don't have Scotty Scheffler available, right? So Best golfer I have available is Hideki. And look, the good news is not like he's chopped liver. He came in fourth in our model. He's finished ninth and 11th the last two times he's competed here. If he could just get anything done with his putter, I think he could make some big bucks here. So that's what I'm going with, Hideki Matsuyama.
He's one of the few golfers that might benefit from a Caddyshack 2 style makeover where they turn the greens into miniature golf. Like, throw a couple of clown mouths out there. It might actually help Decky on the greens. So we will see. And I'm just going to do it here. I didn't think it was going to work out this way, but I'm just going to go for the full-on Alanis Morissette here. But it might work even if he just finishes second or third. And give me Tommy Fleetwood. I still have him on the board. He's plus 1,400. Everything looks pretty great here on paper. It is what it is. But if he can finish tied for fourth and Decky's like 15th, I got a chance here. So, I mean, it would be the alternate irony if Fleetwood wins the Tour Championship as his first career PGA Tour victory. I mean, wouldn't that be ironic? Don't you think? I don't even need that, though. Just give me the top five, Tommy, and I at least got a shot.
Thank you guys for checking out this episode of Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood. Good luck this weekend. Enjoy it. It's the last one. It's been a long season. Have some fun. Make sure you do all the things we said in terms of checking the weather, checking for the best odds, and let us know which plays you're tailing. And if you got something better, we'd appreciate knowing those too. We shared ours, you share yours, right? That's how this thing works. Mills will let you know where you can find all of our stuff. Best thing to do is throw the thumb, like, and subscribe if you haven't done so yet, so you don't miss a single thing that we do, because you don't want to miss that.
He doesn't know which movie song he wants to go with more. I don't want to miss a thing or Kiss from a Rose. Good luck having those stuck in your head, and good luck this weekend to you in all of your endeavors. Thanks again for checking out the show. Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood is presented by Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. Find us wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. We're on social media at Seize the Gap FF and on the World Wide Web at seizethegapff.com. Simple and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Very crucial to our success. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please hit up Mr. Thumb. I am Magnum Mills with Jamie G. Good luck this week. We're going to try to be back for a wrap-up and or the Ryder Cup here, but things do get a little crazy once football goes on, once that kicks off. So if we don't hear from you before then, don't see you before then, good luck to you and all your football stuff as well this year.
Good luck this week. We'll see you guys at the 19th hole. Cheers.
I'm your real Desert Rose. That strange woman you've been hanging out with, she's an imposter. Baby!
To a kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger.